Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're literally cracking open a cold can of one of the most popular soft drinks on the planet. But we're looking at it through a very specific lens, Islamic dietary law. Most people just see Dr. Pepper as your totally normal, everyday soft drink. It's cold, it's fizzy, it's sweet, and you can find it pretty much everywhere, right? But we aren't just going to talk about how it tastes. We're actually going to transform the data from the recent Halal Radar investigation into a super clear breakdown of exactly what's hiding inside this famous can. Okay, let's dive into this. The core question we're investigating today is pretty straightforward. Is Dr. Pepper halal or haram? Now, Dr. Pepper is absolutely famous for its mysterious blend of 23 flavors. That's the marketing hook we all know and love. But for Muslims, the real mystery isn't about guessing that secret taste profile. The real question revolves entirely around purity and origin. Because honestly, soft drinks can raise a whole lot of halal concerns when you start factoring in complex flavorings, colorings, caffeine, and all those preservatives.
Section 1. The real Dr. Pepper mystery beyond the 23 flavors.
To really wrap our heads around this mystery, we have to recognize a fundamental principle of Islamic dietary law. See, Islam doesn't just ask what something looks like or how good it tastes. It demands a much deeper inquiry. It asks, where does this ingredient actually come from? How exactly is it manufactured? And ultimately, is it pure? For a Muslim, these questions matter deeply, which means just glancing at a soda can isn't always going to cut it. While the drink itself is beautifully fizzy and sweet, those 5 words on the label, natural and artificial flavors, are a massive blind spot for halal-conscious consumers. It simply doesn't tell you the source, and that lack of transparency is exactly what triggers the need for a much deeper investigation.
Section 2. Checking the visible label. The initial sweep.
Think of us as detectives doing an initial sweep of the most obvious evidence we have right now. Whenever you're investigating a complex case, you got to start with the publicly available facts, right? In this case, that's the ingredient list printed right there on the back of the bottle. So here's the standard Dr. Pepper formula broken down for you. We've got carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup or sugar, and side note, formulas might actually swap the corn syrup for regular sugar depending on what country you're in. Then we see caramel color, phosphoric acid, our super mysterious natural and artificial flavors, sodium benzoate acting as a preservative, and of course, caffeine. On the surface, these are just your standard, everyday industrial beverage components. Let's do a rapid-fire check of the biggest haram red flags, kind of like a detective crossing major suspects off a list. Does Dr. Pepper list pork? No. What about gelatin? No. Animal enzymes? Nope, no way. Does it list alcohol as an ingredient? No. So, judging strictly from the visible label, Dr. Pepper does not show the major haram ingredients that Muslims usually worry about in their food and drinks. Section 3. The hidden flavoring system, navigating the gray area. So, while the visible label we just checked is totally clear and free of obvious red flags, beverage companies fiercely protect their proprietary recipes. Dr. Pepper's whole identity comes from that top-secret flavor blend. And because they don't reveal the full details, well, they leave a massive gray area for Muslims trying to ensure their diet is strictly halal. This brings up some major unanswered flavor questions, like, are these natural and artificial flavors entirely plant-based? Are they purely synthetic? Or, and this is a big one, are they carried in an alcohol-based solvent? These specific, undisclosed processing details are the exact reason why halal-conscious consumers get so anxious about broad label wordings. The label just doesn't give us the microscopic breakdown we need to be 100% certain. However, we've got to be careful and fair here. There's an absolutely crucial principle to keep in mind. In Islamic rulings, suspicion alone is not evidence. We don't just declare something haram because a label uses broad wording. Without officially listed alcohol, pork, gelatin, or any known intoxicating effects, we honestly cannot declare the drink haram based entirely on suspicion or some what-if scenario. Section 4. Caffeine and caramel color. Cross-examining the suspects. Now that we've cleared those immediate red flags and addressed the flavoring mystery, we're going to interrogate 2 commonly misunderstood ingredients to see if they hold up to scrutiny. Let's start with caffeine. People often raise eyebrows at caffeine, right? So let's check its status. To really understand this, we have to define a very specific term, khamr. Khamr is an intoxicant such as alcohol, which clouds the mind and is explicitly forbidden in Islam. We have to clearly differentiate this from caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant. It wakes you up. It doesn't intoxicate or cloud your mind like alcohol does. Because of that, caffeine is not classified as khamr. So caffeine is definitely not haram by itself. But remember, Islam teaches moderation. If someone drinks caffeine excessively, like to the point where they're damaging their health, becoming dependent, or just using it in a harmful way, then that specific behavior becomes blameworthy. But the physical drink itself, it's not made haram simply because it contains a stimulant like caffeine. Now let's cross-examine our second suspect, caramel color. And this brilliantly illustrates why context matters so much. Caramel color in drinks is generally just a coloring ingredient used to give the soda that classic dark brown look. You absolutely shouldn't confuse this with caramel candy, which is often made with dairy or sometimes even alcohol. Caramel color in soft drinks is generally totally safe on its own. It's not the same thing as the candy, and we shouldn't mix the two up. On its own, it's not a clear haram issue. Section 5. The Halal Radar Verdict. The final ruling. Okay, we've done the initial sweep, we've interrogated the hidden flavors, and we've cross-examined the key suspects. Now it's time to deliver the official ruling based on all the evidence we've gathered. The official Halal Radar verdict is in. Halal. Because the standard Dr Pepper formula does not list pork, gelatin, alcohol, or animal-derived enzymes, it is not classified as haram based on the visible ingredients. However, I have to add a little caveat here. Because the flavor formula isn't fully disclosed, strict Muslims who require full 100% verification of flavoring sources and carriers should still seek out specifically halal-certified drinks just to be completely at peace. Section 6. Living with taqwa, actionable steps, and moderation. It's great that we solved the mystery, but what should you actually do with this information when you're walking down the grocery aisle? Let's walk through 3 highly practical steps. Step 1. Always check your local bottle. As we learned, formulas change by region and country, so you really have to verify your own local cans. Step 2. Quickly scan the label for alcohol, gelatin, or any unusual animal-derived additives. If none of those are there, the standard drink isn't a clear problem. And step 3, if you're highly cautious, or maybe you're buying an imported version where standards might differ, just choose a halal-certified soda. And remember, halal isn't just about some checklist of avoiding haram ingredients. Halal is also about taqwa, which is God consciousness. It's about moderation, it's about gratitude, and it's about protecting the body. A sugary soft drink, even if it totally passes the ingredient test, should never become a daily addiction, a waste of resources, or something that ultimately harms the physical body that has been entrusted to you. These dietary laws connect directly to our broader spiritual health. Which leaves us with this final, profound question. Are your daily habits honoring the body entrusted to you? True halal living really goes beyond the label. It's about how much we consume and why. I hope this explainer gave you a much clearer framework for your dietary choices. Stay curious, keep investigating those labels, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.